If you are not encountering difficulty as you speak and preach and communicate in life, and this world is embracing you, it could only be because you are refraining from speaking the truth. So the major impediment to making any progress among ourselves as a people, one of the big ones, is that we are not in agreement on the time. If some of us, for example, are looking back at a Jesus of 2,000 years ago for guidance, and some of us are looking at a Jesus in the 21st century for guidance, then we are not in agreement. But the world we live in today, beloved, in no way resembles the world of 2,000 years ago. And as Minister Farrakhan teaches us, and as we just heard in the Holy Quran, by the time dictates the agenda. It is time for us to focus on number 4. Whether we want to face it or not, the difficulty. Number 4, the Muslim program, what the Muslims want. I will read this to you. We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land, and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. Since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, after giving them 400 years of our sweat and blood and receiving in return some of the worst treatment human beings have ever experienced, we believe our contributions to this land and the suffering forced upon us by white America justifies our demand for our complete separation in a state or territory of our own. Now, the Honorable, all praise is due to Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad warned us to do for self or suffer the consequences. We are now suffering the consequences. He called separation the best and only solution. We have tried to manufacture other solutions that would allow us to continue to live with white people. See, these are solutions that are not natural, beloved. These are solutions that we're coming up with today that are not in accord with the will of the Creator. The solutions we're putting in front of our people now, if we are following anything but the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, can only be the product of cowardice and a desire for assimilation and a rejection of a program that will assure our people freedom, justice, and equality. So here we are again, as Brother Ishmael pointed out last week, in the wake of the bloody, hostile murder of Trayvon Martin, which was one of the many that go on every day in America. Here we are immersed in discussing the nuances of the legal issues that are coming out of that murder. So we're debating with white people over laws that they wrote, laws that they interpret, and laws, as Minister Farrakhan said, they make mischief by means of the law. Since we live in a world that white people dominate, that they control, that is built on a doctrine of white supremacy for no other reason than the white man is white, because of this fact, we are no closer, beloved, to achieving freedom, justice, and equality than we were during physical bondage. We will always, you can trust and believe, we will always occupy the inferior position because white America is constructed on a foundation of a doctrine of the innate, inherent inferiority of the black man and the black woman. And so those among us who are in positions of prominence and have been given a tiny measure of wealth, a tiny measure of privilege to exert influence over our people, to make them accept this unnatural, undesirable, unacceptable condition, you who do that are no longer an asset. You are now a liability because you keep us engaged in an exercise in futility. This, all praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is a self-defeating, self-destructive effort to assimilate into the white man's disintegrating world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book is not called Attack on America, it's called The Fall of America. Because its time has come, and so it is disintegrating before our eyes. And focusing on assimilation into it drains us of our creative energy. We're giving all of our spiritual, mental, physical resources to upholding His world. Our community out here, void of life, void of light, because no one is working to build our community save one man and those with him, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And today, I'm going to say to you, you've got to get out of his way. We have to work to sustain our community. I was driving downtown yesterday, construction everywhere. White man busy, building and building. Construction, traffic, you could barely maneuver because everything was at a standstill to accommodate the recreation and fun of white people. It reminded me of the film Planet of the Apes, because all of the people directing traffic were black. Let me read to you an excerpt from study guide number 12, 4 Great Impediments to Self-Development by Minister Louis Farrakhan. Quote, the superiority complex of the Caucasians is a mindset in which the person becomes God. Thus, they want worship, adulation, and service. Not only are they the center of their own existence, they want to be the center of everyone's existence. Their attitude of superiority has so hardened, they will do anything to force submission of others to themselves. The attitudes and beliefs which produce these complexes, that is white superiority and black inferiority, result in damage to the faculty of perception. Now the mood, because of the damaged perception, is colored by attitude and projects that coloring onto reality, making us spiritually blind, deaf, and dumb. He then quotes chapter 8, verse 22 of the Holy Quran, "Surely the vilest of beasts in Allah's sight are the deaf, the dumb, who understand not." He goes on to write, "Our lessons are called actual facts because they are real. They are that which actually exist. But we can create a contrary fact by damaging the individual's perception of what reality is. In order to destroy the present reality, we must get to the root reality." Now he goes into a further explanation of why we cannot push race to the side.